Hello everyone, my name is Robin and welcome to the first video in the numbers series. All right, now we're going to talk about English numbers today, and if you already know about English numbers, that's okay, because this video is an excellent review. If you don't know about English numbers, it's time to learn. All right, so let's take a look. The first one here, 0. And if you notice next to 0, it has another name, O. Now, a lot of native speakers say 0, but more native speakers will just say O, okay? So this is very confusing to Korean students because when I say 0, when I say it as O, many of my students hear O and they don't think of this number, they think of this number, 5. Because in Korean, O means 5, okay? So you got to be very careful. In English, O means 0, okay? Let's move on to the next numbers. They're a little bit easier. Listen to my pronunciation of each number. Okay, so the first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, and don't forget 0 and O. Okay, let's move on to the next set of numbers. Okay, let's continue on with our numbers. I have the next set here, 11 until 20. All right, so 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Now, as you can see, I put the red line here on these ones because these are the teens, okay? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, all right? So you got to be very careful with the teens because look at this, 20. Teen and T sound very similar, so it can be confusing. So this has to be teen and T. So 19 and 20. Okay, there's one more problem I want to talk about. That is 12 and 20. A lot of my students confuse the numbers 12 and 20. Be very careful. This is 12, 12, and this is 20. Don't confuse those numbers, please. All right, let's go through the pronunciation one more time. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Okay, let's move on to some bigger numbers. Okay, so let's continue with the numbers from 20 to 100. We've already studied 20. Well, what comes after 20? 21. And we can see how I spell it. 20. And we have to put this. This is a hyphen. 1. 21. And after 21, 22. Again with the hyphen. And after 22, 23. 24. 25. 26. 27, 28, 29, 30. And then it continues again, 31, 32, 33, all the way to 40. And then 41, 42. It continues this until 100. Okay, so let's just focus on the tens right now. Now, the first two, we already know. We know 10 and 20. Now let's take a look at these. So of course, 30 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay, this is 100, but it can also be pronounced 100. Okay, both are okay. I want to talk about 40 again. Now, the spelling of 40, a lot of my students see the 4. So when they spell 40, they spell it F-O-U-R-T-Y. This is wrong, okay? You have to spell it F-O-R-T-Y. That's 40. All right, so that's the numbers from 20 to 100. Let's do some extra pronunciation practice right now. All right, I know you need extra practice with these numbers. Okay, these numbers are difficult and confusing because they sound very similar. And a lot of my students have problems pronouncing these numbers correctly, and it makes me confused sometimes. All right, and I have one story. A few years ago, I made an appointment, or actually a date, with a girl. And we were supposed to meet at 5:50. That's what she told me. Let's meet at 5:50. So I went to the meeting place at 5:50, but she wasn't there. Okay, so I waited and waited. She never came. And then the next time I saw her, I said to her, why didn't you show up? I was waiting at 5:50. And she said, yeah, I was waiting there too, but you never came. And I was very confused. Well, it turns out that she said 5:15, but it sounded to me like 5:50. Okay, so we were both confused of the time. Well, she was there at 5:15, I was there at 5:50, and we never met. Okay, so it's very important to get the numbers right and don't confuse them. So let's review. Of course, these are the teens. So this is 13, and this is 30, 13, 30, 14, 40, 15, 50, 16, 60, 17, 70, 18, 80, 19, 90. Okay? Make sure you get those right and pronounce them correctly so you don't have confusion like me. All right. Before we go, we're going to do a listening test with numbers. So you should get a pen and some paper and listen carefully. I'm going to say the number. You should write down the number. Good luck. All right. So for this test, you should have some paper or something just to write down what you hear. So I'm going to say a number, and you should think of that number or write that number down. All right, let's start. Number 1, the first number is 7. 7. Okay, that's easy. You should have this. Number 2, 13. 13. Okay, so it's 13. Number 3, 75. 75. Okay, so that's a big number, 75. Number 4, 20. 20. Okay, you should write this, 20. And number 5, 19. 19. Okay, looks like this. And number 6, 66. 66. Okay, so this is 66. Number 7, 33. 33. Okay, you should write 33. Number 8, 90. 90. Okay, so this is 90. Number 9, 12. 12. Okay, so you should write 12. And the last one, listen carefully, 21. 21. All right, so you should write 21. I hope you did well on the listening test, okay? So these are the basic numbers from 1 to 100. You have to know how to say these numbers. You should know how to write these numbers. And I hope this video helps you, but of course this video is not enough. You have to do self-study and practice these numbers a lot to make sure you know them well. All right, well anyway, that's it for this video. See you next time.